They said I was lucky to even be there. They laughed when I offered ideas, smiled when they handed me the mess. Every meeting, every task, only when no one else wanted to do it. They called it opportunity. But it felt more like punishment, like I was just a pair of hands, not a mind. Still, I stayed. I watched. I listened. And I built, quietly. They made me clean their scraps. So I learned how to build my own table. Now, they work for me. Or rather, my startup owns everything they thought they built. Poetic, isn't it? My name is Jordan Miles, I'm 29, and I live in Oakland, California. I was supposed to be the golden one. Straight A student. Robotics club captain. Computer science scholarship to Stanford. Everyone back in Stockton said, Jordan's gonna make it out. Even my Uncle Lou, who barely spoke to anyone, told me, don't come back with nothing but a story, kid. I was 19 when I landed my first internship at a flashy Bay Area tech firm called Virion. Sleek offices. Standing desks. Kombucha on tap. I thought I had made it. At first, I was starry-eyed, offering ideas in meetings, staying late to fix bugs no one else wanted to touch. But I quickly realized I wasn't seen as a prodigy. I was seen as convenient. They needed someone to do the grunt work. Testing systems after hours. Fixing sloppy code written by full-timers. I did it all. No credit. No raises. Just that fake praise feedback loop. You're such a team player. You really know how to handle the messy stuff. They never said smart. Never said leader. Back home, my family thought I was thriving. My mom would beam on the phone. My baby's working in Silicon Valley. But she didn't know I cried in the stairwell between shifts. Didn't know I'd walk past glass conference rooms and feel like a ghost. When I finally told them I was thinking of quitting, my brother Marcus just said, she's just taking a break. My aunt didn't even look up from her coffee. We don't talk about that anymore. I left quietly. No goodbye cake. No one noticed my badge didn't scan anymore. I started over from nothing. And no one even blinked. After I left Virion, I crashed at my cousin Erica's place in East Oakland. 1 bedroom. Leaky faucet. Smelled like burnt rice and old dreams. But it was warm. And for the first time in months, I could sleep without that knot in my chest. I picked up odd gigs, delivery runs, debugging jobs for college kids, the kind of work that didn't ask for resumes. My laptop became my only real home. One day, I posted in a small online forum offering to help seniors set up their smartphones. $10 an hour. No one bid. Until I got a call from Mrs. Eleanor Bishop, 72, a retired teacher in Berkeley. This machine hates me, she muttered as I walked in. She had a cracked iPhone, 187 unread emails, and a printer that only printed when the moon was full. We sat for 3 hours. I taught her how to swipe, tap, search. She laughed when I showed her FaceTime. And then she cried, softly, like her eyes remembered something her heart couldn't carry alone. You brought my baby into my living room, she whispered. Her son lived in New Jersey. They hadn't spoken in over a year. Now, she watched his eyes flicker on the screen. Live. In color. And she held the phone like it was a second chance. That moment didn't make headlines. No likes. No shares. But it cracked something open in me. I went home and built a simple site. TouchBridge, tech help for elders, by someone who actually listens. At first, just me and a busted Toyota Corolla. Then a friend, Tyler, joined in. Then 2. We weren't making much. But we were making something. And that felt like a kind of wealth no job title had ever given me. It didn't make headlines. But it mattered. TouchBridge started as a side gig. But within a year it was something more. We weren't just fixing phones. We were reconnecting families, building bridges between generations. By month 6, we were onboarding 1,200 seniors across 3 California counties. We ran free workshops in church basements, community centers, even public libraries where we had to bring our own extension cords. We partnered with local nonprofits and got a $10,000 grant from a small foundation in San Jose. That was the moment I paid Tyler a proper salary. Then we brought on Rena, a UX designer, who built an interface so simple my aunt could use it with one hand while baking cornbread. Our open rate on the monthly newsletter? 78%. That's higher than some Fortune 500 companies. We didn't go viral, but the seniors did. They shared us by word of mouth, quietly, lovingly. Mrs. Bishop told her bingo group. Her bingo group told their grandkids. And before long, I was waking up to voicemail after voicemail. Hi, I heard you're the young man who makes phones feel human again. I started getting invited to speak at tech inclusion panels. Got featured in a small column in the Sacramento Bee. Even landed a Zoom call with a rep from Google's Community Tech Initiative. But back home? Still silence. Thanksgiving rolled around. I showed up with a custom iPad for my mom, programmed with voice reminders and one-touch video calls. She smiled, said, "Thanks, baby. That's real sweet." Then handed it to my cousin Nikki. "Maybe you can figure this out for me." I brought printouts of our quarterly growth, color graphs, bullet points, retention stats. My brother Marcus glanced at it, then said, "Teaching old folks to click buttons? Real noble work." Even Uncle Lou, who once believed in me, said over his glass of whiskey, "You always been the free spirit. I guess that's fine." They still saw me as the dropout, the kid who walked away from the big job, not the founder of a growing platform, changing lives one tap at a time. I knew I shouldn't care. I told myself their silence didn't matter. But some nights, when I closed my laptop and stared at the wall, I still wished someone from home would say, "I see you." Instead, I poured it into TouchBridge. More features, better onboarding, a pilot program in Arizona, an app redesign. We were expanding fast, scaling smart, getting noticed in the places that had once ignored me. But even then, I couldn't shake the ache. I had built something real, something lasting. And still, in my family's eyes, I was just the kid with the broken dreams patching up phones. It was a Thursday, late October. Fog rolled in heavy over Embarcadero, and I had just finished a long meeting with a nonprofit partner. I stopped at Bluestone Lane, grabbed a coffee, and ducked into the co-working space we use downtown. I wasn't expecting anyone, just a quiet few hours of answering emails and updating our backend systems. But then I saw him, sitting at the community table, hunched over a Chromebook, looking frustrated. He was wearing a navy suit, shoes polished to a mirror, with a Stanford Law tote bag at his feet. Mid-30s. Black. Sharp. Professional. I noticed his screen, Google Sheets, clunky formatting, data, in all the wrong places. Instinct kicked in. "Need a hand?" I asked. He looked up, tired but grateful. "I'm trying to track user feedback from this Elder Tech workshop we hosted last month. It's a mess." Elder Tech. My ears perked up. I pulled up a chair. We started talking. Turns out, he worked with a Bay Area initiative focused on digital equity in underserved communities. He was building a presentation for their board, trying to justify a new round of funding. "Honestly," he said, "it's all built off this one app my team discovered last year. Simple interface. No frills. But seniors love it." I blinked. "What's it called?" "TouchBridge." "You heard of it?" The moment froze. My fingers went cold around the ceramic cup. I nodded slowly. "Yeah, I've heard of it." He kept going, unaware. "It's wild. My mom used to call me 4 times a day in tears because she couldn't figure out her damn phone. Now she sends me voice notes, emojis, even GIFs." He laughed, eyes lighting up. "She calls TouchBridge her miracle portal. Says it made her feel human again. You should have seen her face when she FaceTimed my niece for the first time. Said it felt like touching God." My throat tightened. "That's incredible." Then he paused, as if studying me more carefully. He tilted his head, then leaned back. "Wait. What's your name?" "Jordan." "Jordan Hale." His eyes widened. "No way. You're the founder?" I nodded, slowly. There was a beat of silence between us. Then he exhaled and shook his head like he was seeing something mythic. "Man, I've been quoting your work for 6 months and didn't even know what you looked like." He stood up, hand extended. You don't know me, but your app changed my family. We shook hands, firm and quiet. But in my chest, something cracked open. Not because I demanded attention, I said softly, but because the truth walked in by itself and refused to stay quiet. He smiled. I'm bringing your platform up at our board meeting tomorrow. The city should be funding this kind of thing. We talked for another 30 minutes. He took notes. I gave him a quick demo of our next build. He promised to connect me with 2 more initiatives working out of Los Angeles and Seattle. But honestly, the introductions weren't the win. The win was being seen. Not by my family. Not by the press. But by someone who only knew the work. Not the dropout label. Not the kid who walked away from a real job. Just the builder. The bridge maker. I left that co-working space and sat in my car for 20 minutes, just staring out at the city lights. That moment. It was small, quiet, but massive. It didn't scream. It didn't need applause. It simply was. A few days later, a small envelope arrived at my apartment. No return address. No handwriting on the front, just my name, neatly typed. I opened it slowly. Inside was a note. 4 words. Proud of you, Mom. No signature. No explanation. Just enough. I placed it gently in the drawer beside my bed. Didn't frame it. Didn't text her. Didn't need to. That same week, I got a LinkedIn message from my brother, Caleb. We hadn't spoken in over a year. Just saw your name on that Civic Tech article. That's you, right? You always were ahead of us. No emoji. No sarcasm. Just respect. Late. Quiet. But real. And the next Sunday, my dad called. He didn't ask how the company was doing. Didn't mention revenue or funding. He just asked if I was eating well. We talked about nothing, weather, football, the new coffee shop opening by his place. But for the first time in years, I didn't feel like a disappointment trying to earn my way back in. I felt fine. Complete even. The silence from them that used to crush me now felt more like stillness. Like breathing room. Like I didn't need to fill it with performance or validation. I walked through the old neighborhood the next morning. Past the park where I used to sketch UI designs on napkins. Watched 2 kids race each other on scooters. Laughed when one of them shouted into a tablet, "Grandma, I made it to the top." Maybe it wasn't even our app. Maybe it was. Didn't matter. I felt the peace settle into my chest like a slow sunrise. No trumpet. No trophy. Just quiet pride. It wasn't pride. It was peace. I didn't print the letter. I just kept it. And that was enough. If you've ever felt invisible, like your value was only real when someone else approved it, this story was for you. If you've done the heavy lifting, stayed late, built quietly while others took the credit, you're not alone. Sometimes, the work no one sees ends up changing everything. Sometimes, the person they overlooked is the one writing the future. Maybe you're still in the part of the story where you're underestimated. Maybe you're holding an idea no one believes in yet. But trust me, what they dismiss today might just be what they need tomorrow. You're not behind. You're just building in silence. Where are you watching from? What's your story? Tell me in the comments. Someone out there needs to hear it. Maybe more than you know. Here, we honor quiet victories. Second chances. Human stories that don't fit headlines, but stay with you. Thank you for listening. More stories are on the way. And if no one's told you lately, you're doing better than you think.